Hello students, this is Ovijit Shah from SNCS. So today we will discuss about one new topic from geography. The chapter's name is landforms. Okay. So our planet, the Earth, is called a blue planet because 71% of it is covered by oceans and only 29% by land. So most of the part of Earth is covered with water, and that's why it is also called as blue planet. Okay. And the northern hemisphere consists mostly of land, while the southern hemisphere is almost covered by oceans. So if you look into the Earth picture, you can see that the most of the lands are situated in the northern portion, okay, and in the southern portion they have less amount of land masses. The solid part of the Earth's surface is constituted by various natural physical features called landforms, and the solid parts, they formed various kind of landforms. They may be mountain, valley, plateau and plains. Next is formation of landforms. The various landforms on the surface of the earth are produced by the interaction of two processes. So there have two processes, they are exogenic or external processes, and the another is endogenic or internal processes. Okay. So what are the exogenic processes? The external processes are those processes that act on the earth's surface. So these are related with the earth's surface, and these are formed in the earth's surface, and these are the agent of denudation. Denudation means there have various kind of denudation method like river, glacial, wind and waves, and these agents wear down the rock on the surface and produce different features like valley, lowland and ridges. The external processes act slowly and changes take place gradually over a long period of time. So external processes are actually do their work very slowly, and changing take place gradually over a long period of time. The changes which take place on the surface of the earth can be observed like erosion by running water or effect of weathering. We can easily see these kinds of changes in this place, that in the river we can see that some the sea surface, these are eroded by the help of water. Next is endogenic or internal processes. The internal processes operate in the interior of the earth. So these are totally depends on the interior structure, and these are formed also in the interior part of the earth, and the effect of the internal processes may be felt suddenly on the surface like earthquake, volcanic eruption or tidal activity. So when in the internal part their endogenic processes occurred, and this effect also we feel in the earth's surface. So earthquake is happened in the earth surface or in the interior part of the earth, then we can feel also the earthquake phenomena in the earth's surface. Sometimes the internal process like mountain building operates slowly over a long period of time. Okay. So the working of the internal processes cannot be observed, but its effect may be visible on the surface of the land. We cannot see the internal effects, but we feel the effect of these internal processes. Hence endogenic movement may be slow movement or sudden movement, and this endogenic process, it may be slowly occurred or it may be suddenly occurred. So slow movements, there have two parts, that epirogenic and the another is orogenic. What is epirogenic movement? That vertical movement called epirogenic movement. So when this movement is occurred vertically, then it is called as epirogenic movement. Okay, upward or downward. And Greek word epiros means a continent, and this movement called the continent building movement, because for the epirogenic movement the continents are formed, that's why the name is epirogenic movement. And you can see this table that there have the information regarding the processes, that geomorphic processes we can divide at first endogenic and exogenic. Then exogenic processes we can divide into three parts: weathering, erosion and deposition. And there have some sub part, that weathering, it may be physical weathering, chemical weathering, biological weathering, or erosion, it will be held with water, groundwater, glaciers, wave and currents or winds. And next is deposition. Deposition will be occurred also by the running water, groundwater, glacial, wave and currents and winds. And endogenic process, they have slow movement and sudden movement. Slow movement, it is, if it is happened in vertically, then it is called as epirogenic. If it is happened in horizontally, then it is called as orogenic. Okay, and sudden, it will be volcanism or earthquake. These two are under these sudden movements. Okay, upward or downward, or it is force of compression and it is due to force of tension. Okay. So next is, these movements generally cause rising or sinking of the crust over large area without fracturing and folding of the rocks, and much of the continent of Africa was subjected to epeirogenic movement. So various kind of continent like the Africa also have created with the help of epeirogenic movement. Next is horizontal or orogenic movement. That horizontal or orogenic movements may be caused by compressional force or tensional force. So it is happen due to compressional force. Compressional force result in the formation of fold mountain, and these are known as orogenic movement. When compressional forces act from two opposite directions, the crustal rocks get folded, and anticline and syncline are simple upfolds and downfold respectively. So when any kind of fold is occurred, there two type of things are actually happened. One is anticline and another is syncline. So upward position or upward features are called as anticline, and then the downward features are called as syncline. And mountains building has occurred during many periods of the Earth's geological past, and many old fold mountains were formed long back. An example are Aravallis in India, Urals in Russia, and the Appalachian in North America. This all are happened and they are all placed as a fold mountain. Okay, and these are happened due to this orogenic movement. Okay, and sometimes when the crustal rocks are subjected to horizontal compression forces, the rocks do not get folded and they get fractured or break up along the line of weakness due to the force tension. So sometimes what happened, they are not create the fold, okay, they actually fractured. So they one portion is actually moved downward from the another portion. Okay, so this time what happened, the faults are occurred. Okay, fault means crack. Okay, like there you can see that if it is not the picture, that if in a landform, if one crack is occurred, then it is called as fault. Okay, and when two fault occur side by side, the portion of the crust between two faults may get depressed or uplifted by movement along the fault, and when the portion between the fault get depressed to form a long valley, it is called rift valley. And when the portion which is depressed into the surface, this is called as rift valley, and the upper part is called as the block mountain. Okay, and when the portion of the crust is uplifted between two adjoining fault, it forms a block mountain or a host. Okay, and the Vosges and the Black Forest in eastern France on either side of the Rhine Valley, another example of Narmada Valley between Vindhya and Satpura ranges. And you can see all this information regarding this picture. You can see that there have the depressed place, this is called as rift, and in the this is upper part, these are actually placed as a block mountain, and these two are actually faults. Okay, and next is sudden movement caused by sudden endogenic forces coming from deep within the earth cause sudden and rapid events that cause massive destruction at and below the earth's surface. Such events like volcanic eruption and earthquake are called extreme events and become disastrous hazard when they occur in densely populated localities. And geologically, these sudden force are termed as constructive force. So these are called as constructive force. So there will be two type of forces, one is destructive, another is constructive, because for sometime what happened, that some construction is happened, and sometime what happened, due to this activities some destruction is occurred. Okay, so for example, volcanic eruption is an endogenic process and that result in the formation of volcanic cones and mountains. And while basic lava forms extensive lava plateau and lava plains, earthquakes create fault, fractures and lakes, etc. Okay, so they create these kind of things.